Hi, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Deb. Are you ready to use your imagination? This story is called Penelope, the Dragon Tamer. Now, sit back, relax, and have fun. Penelope was the luckiest one in her whole family because her room was in a tower at the top of a tall house. There were 107 stairs leading up to her bedroom, and it took Penelope quite a while to climb them all. You see, she was a small girl. As a matter of fact, she was much shorter than most of her friends, but she didn't mind. Every day when Penelope got home from school, she would climb the stairs, jump up on her special stool, and look out the window at the town below. She could see children playing in their yards and laundry blowing in the breeze. She loved her little town and the people that lived there. But in the distance, a dark cloud of smoke lingered in the sky. Penelope shivered as she looked beyond the smoke to an enormous mountain in the horizon. That is where the dragon lived. All of the townspeople were afraid to venture near the mountain because of the dragon that lurked inside a cave. Not one, not even the brave knights who guarded the castle had conquered the fierce beast. Many years ago, the king decided it was time to exterminate the dragon once and for all, so he sent his bravest and biggest knight. The knight scaled the jagged mountain rocks and was about to pounce on the old dragon. The dreaded beast let out an earth-shattering roar that shook the ground. The startled knight tumbled all the way back down the mountain. He was so afraid that he never went back again. So the frustrated king sent his tallest and strongest knight to battle the dragon. When he got close enough to attack, the dragon was fast asleep and snoring, but the creature breathed out so many fiery flames that his armor got burnt and fell right off. He ran all the way back to the castle in his underwear. Oh! Even though the tall knight could not defeat the dragon, he told the king about a beautiful lake that he had seen at the top of the mountain. "Surely someone is brave enough to overcome this wicked monster, so we can all go to that lake on the mountain. I shall offer a reward to whoever will rise to the occasion," said the king. To this day, no one has ever seen the mysterious lake. Staring out her bedroom window to the mountain in the distance, Penelope imagined what it would feel like to swim in the cool blue water. Then she started thinking about that old bully dragon with an entire lake all to himself, and she felt angry. She wanted to do something to make a change. How can the people who live here be afraid of something they haven't seen ever? She thought. Little Penelope got very brave and decided that it was time to have a talk with that dragon. She put on her magic cape with special powers that her grandma made for her, packed a jam sandwich, and then she headed out the door. The town faded in the distance as she started up the long and windy path to the great mountain. Even though her little legs felt tired, she was determined to keep walking. Oh, the smell of smoke lingered in the air. Ooh, and burned trees lined the pathway. For a minute, she thought about running just as fast as she could right back to town. But she gave herself a big hug, and she kept on going. As she got closer to the dragon's cave, she worried about what she would say when she finally came face to face with the beast. She took a deep breath, straightened her cape, and began to scramble up over the rocks. Oh, the rocks surrounded the cave. I can do this, she thought. Yes, I can do this. I may be small, but I'm not afraid. And Mom says all the strength I need is already inside of me. Just then, there was the loudest sound that she had ever heard. The earth shook and flames flew right over her head. Ever so slowly, Penelope peered over a huge rock, and for the first time, she saw the brazen brute. The dragon was huge and covered in shiny green scales. His teeth were long and pointy. His claws looked sharp and jagged, and he had the most fearsome tail that flicked back and forth. He let out another raspy growl that echoed out across the land like rumbling thunder and lit up the sky with flames. As Penelope crouched behind the rock, her nose itched, and she began to feel a sneeze coming on. She tried her best to hold it in, but it was impossible. The old dragon froze in his spot, made a sinister smile, and slowly looked out over his domain. Oh, goody! That must be my dinner sneezing, he bellowed. Come out now on a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 3.5. I'm warning you. Shall we play hide and seek? You don't have to yell so loud, you know. I'm right here. Here? Where? The dragon searched the rocks with his bulging eyes, but saw no one. Oh, no. I'm here. I'm down here. He strained his long, scaly neck and followed the tiny voice to the ground below. Penelope was standing straight in front of him. Her red cape was blowing in the breeze, and her hands were on her hips. Why, you aren't dinner? Well, you're not even an appetizer. Oh, bother. So who are you? And where did you come from? The dragon asked as they came face to face for the very first time. My name is Penelope. I've come from the town below the mountain because I want to have a talk with you. Oh, is that so? Replied the dragon, uninterested, as he sharpened his claws on a jagged rock. Yes, I was just wondering, why are you so mean and you won't ever let anyone pass by the mountain? Silence! Enough of this chatter. Dragons are always mean, roared the beast, as smoke spewed from his giant nostrils. Penelope was so startled she almost jumped out of her skin. She slowly backed away. Well, my dad, he says someone who's angry at people all the time is really mad at himself. Clearly, I'm not a someone. I'm a something that is getting very furious at a someone. The dragon fixed his prickly snout right in front of Penelope's face. Well, how's that working for you? I mean, it can't feel good to be angry all of the time. My dear little pipsqueak, I'll have you know that I am the last living dragon on this earth. All of my ancestors have been exterminated by those wretched knights. So you see, I must uphold my position. Enough of this blither blather. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. Time to eat. Penelope quickly climbed up on a tall rock until she was staring straight into the dragon's eyes. Well, I may be small, but I'm not afraid of you. So you go ahead and eat me if you must. Anyway, my mom says I'm kind of bony. It's just that you don't seem very happy, all alone up here, stuck in a cave on the side of a mountain, especially when all you do is scare people and burn up forests. I think you could use a friend. You have it all wrong, you annoying little girl. And a giant flame flew out of the dragon's mouth and instantly caught a tall tree on fire. No one ever stays long enough for a visit. They all run away, cowards that they are. And you say I'm unfriendly. Well, that's because you scare them with your fiery breath. If you haven't noticed, I am a fire-breathing dragon. Well, I'm sure you're proud of that, but do you have to burn up so many forests? Trees are beautiful, and they help us. Can't you just shoot your flames high up into the sky like fireworks? For centuries, my relatives have been burning up forests. That's how we scare people. I can't change, and I won't change. Besides, you have no idea how boring it is sitting in this cave day after day. A dragon's got to have some fun. Okay, quit distracting me. Oh, no more questions. You are beginning to aggravate me, little whippersnapper. And the dragon bellowed. Oh, fine, have it your way, but you aren't going to make any friends burning up the whole neighborhood. And another thing, why won't you let anyone pass by your cave or go up to the lake? No one ever asked. Am I a mind reader? Besides, those knights are not the most favorable characters. They're always trying to prove their bravery. Oh, How droll! The old dragon grew weary, and he plopped down on a large rock, which caused the earth to shake and start a landslide. Boulders fell, and the ground shook all around Penelope. She quickly lost her balance and tumbled out of the cave. In an instant, the dragon leapt into the air, his great strong wings flapping fiercely. He swooped down and caught the helpless little girl just in time, and then carefully placed her back inside the cave. At that moment, Penelope looked into the dragon's eyes, and she saw his heart. You saved me. You saved my life. Thank you. Even though you act mean and grouchy, deep down inside, I think you are a kind soul.
Well, perhaps it was a moment of weakness. I couldn't let you perish. You are, after all, the first human being I have ever met. You're not really so bad, even though you do have a lot to say for such a tiny thing.
A slight smile curled up from the corners of the dragon's mouth as he looked down at Penelope, and she smiled back too. You know, he continued, all of these years I've had a lot of pressure on me as the last living dragon. When I see people, they expect me to gobble them up. Truthfully, I have a confession to make. I'm really a vegetarian. I'd just as soon have a nice fresh salad or some tea and cookies. I'm very misunderstood, and I'm rather lonely up here all day. Yes, my dear, you are quite right. I could use a friend or two. As the day went on, Penelope and the dragon got to know each other, and it turned out he really wasn't so mean after all. They had a splendid time drinking Earl Grey tea. He even took her up to the lake. It was beautiful, and she told him how much the people from her town wanted to see it too. Penelope finally persuaded the dragon to leave his cave, and together they went back to town, hoping to prove that he wasn't so bad after all. The dragon offered Penelope a ride on his back, and she gladly accepted. Oh, it was magical. As they glided through the clouds, she could see the town below. And when the people saw the dragon, at first they ran screaming and running for safety. But then they saw Penelope. She quickly reassured everyone that there was no need to be afraid anymore. The old dragon had just pretended to be mean all of these years. No one could believe their eyes as Penelope sat perched on one of the dragon's enormous green wings. As the news quickly spread, Penelope's parents, the king and queen, and all the knights had rushed to the town square. They stared in amazement at the huge, scaly beast. Before long, the dragon and the knights were having a great laugh as they shared their stories of bravery. The dragon decided to do something nice for the crowd. Using his fiery breath, he cleared a wide path all the way up to the lake. He carried the children on his back as the townspeople followed. They played in the cool water all day. The dragon had to be told not to splash quite so hard. When it was time to eat, they had a gigantic picnic, and the dragon was the official barbecue cook. He could flame broil a burger in 10 seconds. Well, the busy day came to an end, and there was loud applause as the dragon bid the town good night and then magnificently flew back to his cave. The king and queen were so impressed with brave little Penelope that they offered her a reward and a chance to live in the palace. But she said, "No thanks. I'm happy at my house," because she loved her little room in the tower. In the weeks that followed, Penelope and the dragon had a lot of fun together. Sometimes the dragon would give Penelope a ride to school. He liked to sit outside the classroom window and listen to the teacher, but he couldn't fit in the classroom. Penelope even taught the dragon how to read, which he found was much more fun than burning up forests. At nighttime, before Penelope climbs up on her little stool, she waves a candle at the window. Far away in a cave on the side of the mountain, the dragon is waiting. One giant flame shoots into the dark night sky. Just for Penelope, as if to say, "Good night." Did you really think that Penelope and the dragon were going to be friends? Can you imagine Penelope walking up that long, scary pathway? What if that was you? Can you smell the smoke? Can you see the burned forests? Can you hear the wind howling as you make your way up the mountain, getting closer and closer and closer to the dragon's cave? Penelope is tiny, but very brave as she challenges the ferocious dragon. Can you think of a time in your life when you were brave? You are awesome. I know. Why don't you draw a picture of your favorite part of the story? Well, I hope you had fun. Please visit me at debloyd.com for more stories. Bye for now.